Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Halo Forge Epidemic. This is SirThomas, and today we'll be discussing Dominion Fortifications. Now guys, if you haven't checked out my previous video on Dominion base design, I recommend you do so. And if you guys want to join in on the action, you want to join our customs and help us test map submissions, be sure to check out our Dominion announcement video. Now today we're going to focus on three main points. We'll be discussing turret placement, basic fortifications, and vehicle pads. Now we are looking at Charlie base on Exile, and you'll notice that you have the two turrets defending the two separate approaches to Charlie. And what you'll notice is that the turrets can't actually shoot the same target at the same time. There's actually line of sight blockers that protect players from being team shotted by turrets. I think that's very important. Something else you'll notice is that we have this entrance without a shield door that kind of allows players to sneak into the base. I also think is very important. And as you'll notice, we have these scattered base status monitors as well as the turret status monitors, kind of give people information on the fly. And it really adds to that kind of fortified base feel. And as we come out on the roof, you'll notice we have several barricades kind of giving cover, as well as the antennas themselves blocking lines of sight and allowing players to be creative when they fight. And of course we have the barricades in the front, adding additional line of sight blockers. And we have a Wraith for this Charlie base. And something about Exile is that Charlie gets the Wraith while Alpha only gets a Ghost, and this kind of helps balance the lower level position of Charlie. And something else you'll notice is that these vehicle pads are placed in positions that players can easily find, and it's really natural for them to acquire those vehicles, and they can move immediately once they acquire them and get into combat. So we are looking at Mexican Tortoise Scrapyard, and we're going to talk a little bit about turret placement. And as you'll notice, we have the turret defending the Bravo Hill, and it has a cylinder shape on it that is 10 units wide. This essentially is the shooting range of a turret. You can't really change this in Forge, but this is just a representation of where it'll generally fire. This varies based on its height and its positioning, but it's generally just about 10 units. It'll also shoot 180 degrees in front of itself. Something that's very important is that you should be able to get longer lines of sight on the turret, but the turret should be able to cover short lines of sight. As you'll notice, I'll be able to maneuver around this turret if I'm careful, but if I'm cocky, I'll get shot down. And just a few important notes, guys. You don't want turrets guarding teleporters or guarding man cannons. This is very bad for gameplay. And you don't want turrets indoors either. So definitely be careful with those. So as we're looking more at this Bravo base on Scrapyard, we of course have that turret again. And he was very sparse on his fortifications and his base stripes. This was partially to allow him to have good frame rate, but it also kind of added to the base's feel. And as you'll notice, we have these two fortifications here, these the barricade and the antenna, that really block specific lines of sight. They really added to the ability for players to move in that area. And of course he has the sparse base monitors, and he kind of has the scattered crates that really add to that kind of thrown together, hold this base feel. And something that was really cool about this base is it has the turrets status monitors just outside on each side that kind of allow people to know when their turrets are up. And of course the Banshee is in a perfect position, exactly where you think the Banshee is, and it's easy to fly out. So guys, just a few tips on setting up your fortifications. Thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe, and you guys have a good one.